What's up, nerds? Today we'll be going over the Tree of Whispers objectives and, more importantly, how to do them well. Because at certain points of the game, Tree of Whispers is the best way to farm materials, socketables, legendary aspects, and most importantly, experience all at the same time. But only if you do them efficiently. If not, then they're pretty trash and you should probably just forget about them. If you want to learn how to do them efficiently, however, settle into your seats. Class is about to begin. We're going to go over 6 different examples and how to approach them to get the most out of each scenario. Okay, so first we're going to go over which are the best Tree of Whispers events, and then we're going to go over which ones are the worst and which ones you should try and do on your way to do the best ones. And each objective that's in the A column, you want to do every single time, no matter what. Each one that's in the B column, you want to do on the way to doing A's. And then the C column is you just don't want to do those. They're just not worth it. They need to be buffed. That's the problem. So first off, we have the ritual. That's gonna be what's that gonna be, class? You guessed it. It's B. So it would actually be in A tier because of how quickly you can do it. However, there's no mob killing involved, so it doesn't give you as much XP as a similar Tree of Whispers objective would. So it goes in a B tier. Here we have the Legion event. Where does it go, everybody? That's right, it's trash. Like, it's good, but they're usually out of the way and they usually take too long, and you can't control how quickly you do them by yourselves because they're a pretty large event. We have the Harvest Anima modes. Where does this go, everybody? It goes in B tier. If you want to, it would be like B plus tier, but because you do it incidentally while you're doing the other A tiers that we'll get to, you'll always do it, so you don't really need to think about it. You just have to plot it on your way. Here we have Find the Corpse or Assassination. What's this one, everyone? It's B. It would be A if it was very predictable or you could find them easily, but you can't really find them that easily. So you don't really want to go out of your way because some areas have a lot of cliffs and you'll get up and off your horse and it'll just be a whole thing. Next we have events, and this can be one or it can be multiple events in the same area. Of course, this is A tier. It's probably S tier if there would be like a single best one. Next up we have dungeons. I'm sure everyone would rank dungeons on par with events, and well, you're right. They are A tier, and you want to do every single dungeon and you want to do every single event, and you want to plot a course to each one as efficiently as possible. Next up, we got sellers. That's also going to be an A tier. They're quick, easy. They give you rare materials that you like, multiple crushed beast bones type, and a lot of times they have events going on inside of them as well, so they give a good chunk of XP. Next up we have PvP zone. If you can do these, not bad, but they're usually out of the way and inefficient, so that's going to go in C tier. Here we have world boss. Obviously this would be the worst one, so we're just going to put it over there. Just trash. Here we have Slayer. Now, depending on what Slayer you get, it can be in between A and B tier, or it can be in between B and C tier. So we're just going to put it in the middle here. Say you have a Slay All in the Dry Steppes, and that is usually cannibals or spiders. The spiders Slayer quest, amazing, because you just kill like 2 packs and it's done instantly. However, the cannibals one, their pack size consists of like 4 to 5 at most, and you have to kill like 40 of them. If you needed to kill like wood wraiths in Ska's Glen, or you needed to kill cannibals in Dry Steppes, that would be C tier. If it's, things with decently high pack size like killing ghouls or skeletons, B tier. But again, the B tier you just want to do on your way to doing the A tiers, and the C tiers you just want to kind of avoid entirely. Now that we have this out of the way, let's get into the real example here. First up on our real examples, we have this area in the Dry Steppes. In this case, there's 3 A tier events and then there's 3 B tier events. So this is actually a really good spot. Here, I'll give you a second. 3, 2, 1. That's actually what you want to do. The main city in Dry Steppes is going to be up here in the top middle. So you're going to teleport to there because it's the closest. On the way to the cellar, you're going to want to lean towards the Find the Corpse because it can be on the way to finding the cellar, so you can do it on the way. Same thing with this Find a Corpse. Then you do the cellar, and then on your way down here, you also, if you haven't gotten this corpse yet. You want to lean towards it because it could be in this area around here. And then you want to do the event. And then you want to head up while leaning towards the corpse again, kind of like moving towards the end to the dungeon. So if you haven't gotten it yet, and then you want to do the dungeon, and then you want to come back around here. And then by the time you do the event and the find corpses, you'll have enough motes to be able to do the motes instantly. And that's the area. All right, next one. So this How Is Our area is kind of tricky. Here you can see a B tier, A tier, A tier. This is a C tier because it kills snakes, I believe. This is a B tier, B tier, A tier. So the A tiers are pretty far apart, so you can't really do them as quickly as possible. However, I'll give you a moment here to guess exactly how it's going to go down. 3, 2, 1. So you're going to come from the far right city in Hawazar, and then you're going to run towards the cellar while leaning towards the find a body here. And then if you don't find it, then you just leave it alone. And then you come to the event. And then on your way to the event, this might give you enough slaying of a certain enemy type in order to do most of this one already. So you can finish this off along the way if it does. If it doesn't, I wouldn't really worry about it. And then if you go to the motes, you should have enough. But if you don't have enough at this point in time after doing this body, this event, and this slay all, then you can always go forward a little bit to the other find a body, take your time there, and then to the motes, because the motes is pretty important, even though it's B tier. If you're ever like 70% or more of the way to finishing off the collect anima, you should just do it, even with random mobs, because it's just that good. And then you go to the dungeon. No, that's it for that example. Next one. Here we have an example in Kehjistan. This one is pretty, this one is kind of tricky. So you'll have to think of the best possible way to do this. And I'll say again, this one's pretty tricky. You can see here that there's one B tier, one B tier, one A tier, one B tier, and another A tier. So there's not much really going on here. It becomes very obvious once you see the solution on how to do this most efficiently. 1, 2, 3. That's right. You don't even bother with those three, and you just go from A tier to A tier. There are going to be some instances like this where you want to make the most of the Tree of Whispers available to you. However, sometimes you just don't have the option to do it that well, so you just want to skip the ones that aren't immediately beneficial to you, or that would take like over twice or 3 times as long to actually do. And in this case, this would take a long time. You can see here that there's some cliffs here, there's a lot of ins and outs, so it would be pretty hard to actually find this corpse. This moat is off tucked into a corner, and there's a slay all, but there's no event to help you do the slay all or the event motes, so they both go to like C tier, and this is out of the way, not in between any A tiers, so it also goes to C tier, so you just want to ignore those all the way. Next example. Here we have the eastern area of the dry steppes, and you can see here that there is one A tier, a B tier, a B tier, an A tier, a B tier, and a B tier. However, these find corpses are in difficult to find spots generally. I know that there's a lot of climbing up and getting off your horses, and that can slow you down a lot. Here's going to be the reveal in 3, 2, 1. So you're going to come to this waypoint. You're going to do the event first, and then you're going to find this corpse, and then you're going to find this corpse. If you don't have enough, you'll find this corpse almost incidentally because you'll be close enough to it. But this corpse is pretty annoying. If you don't have enough motes after doing this event and this first corpse, then you're going to want to find this one, because this slay all with cannibals is trash. It's horrible. It's C tier, D tier. You just want to ignore it. And then you'll have enough for the motes, and then you go to the dungeon right after. This one's kind of tricky because it's pretty conditional, but based off of like what step you want to do next. And that's actually the most, but yeah, this is going to be like your mostly average area. If you do this well, then it's still going to be better than Nightmare Dungeons when you're like fresh into World Tier 3 or fresh into World Tier 4 in terms of XP and like gear progression wise. All right, this one, pretty complicated. Northeast area of Skosglen, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of empty space here. So I'll give you a second here. We have an A tier, an A tier, a B tier, B tier, A tier, B tier. It's very complicated, so I'll give you a second here. All right, 3, 2, 1. So you're gonna come to this teleporter, you're gonna go do this event, and hopefully you're gonna find the corpse along the way. And I would spend like just a little bit going down here to see if you can find the corpse in this large open area. And regardless of if you do or if you don't, you want to teleport back to the teleporter, and then you want to go all the way to the cellar, and then you want to come up here if you have enough after doing the find a corpse and event. Then you want to do the moats. If you don't, then you want to do the corpse and then come back to the moats and then do the dungeon last. I would put this whole area as a low priority, so I would do every other area first, because this one's likely going to take the most time, so it's the least efficient of the Tree of Whispers areas that were available in this rotation of Tree of Whispers. However, this still ends up being very fast. Next one, last one. Let's see here. We have one in Northern Kyovashad. So here we have a B tier, we have an A tier, B tier, B tier, B tier, and an A tier. There are actually, I would say that there are two. This one's pretty complicated as well. So I'll give you a second here to figure it out. 3, 2, 1. This one, I actually disagree with what I drew here. Here, I will just adjust this a little bit. So the reason why I'm taking these two off of C tier and putting them into B tier is because this Slay All right here is actually, that's ghouls, and ghouls come in like huge pack size. So you can do this pretty easily, because I think it's like slay 40 ghouls, and that's like 2 packs. And then there's usually a pack about right there, so you can do the moats as well right there. I would say that this one's pretty iffy though. There's just no event to help you do the slay all, so if the pack size isn't there, then it's going to be pretty difficult to do the moats and the slay all, and you just have one B tier that you'll be able to do that will help you get towards the moats, so it's pretty difficult. If you don't find the corpse on the way to the cellar or on the way to the dungeon, I might just skip these two entirely, and I wouldn't want to waste my time because there's a lot of cliffs here, so the corpse could be like there, could be like there, like here, there, here. Yeah, it could be in so many different places. So I would just, yep, do-do-do, and then do-do-do. If you do find the corpse though, I would do the kill all, and then I would do the moats as well. But if not, then I would just skip it. And this is going to be another pretty average mid example. This is still, if you just go straight to the cellar, to the dungeon, it does end up just being faster than a Nightmare dungeon if you don't have your full set of sacred gear or full set of ancestral gear when you're switching world tiers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the live commentary and the puzzle solving, and I hope that this helps you in whatever you try to do in the future. Popping up now should be some other videos that you might find useful, entertaining, or just informative. Have a good one.